Hello and welcome to Sci-Fi-Night Light, where we talk about random topics that somehow relate to sci-fi and horror. Alright, it's October, and you know what that means.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
So, I'm sure we all have our favorite scary movies, scary books, scary video games, so on. But what about scary songs? Can a piece of music be frightening? Good sound is, in my opinion, essential for setting the mood, creating atmosphere, and by extension, creating frightening themes and moments. I think most would agree that, yes, certain songs, melodies, or vocals can definitely be creepy and scary. But what's the scariest song ever made? Bands like KORN and Marilyn Manson have some very dark and grim songs whose macabre lyrics match the nightmarish sounds perfectly. The song Kim by EMINEM is very possibly the most disturbing rap song ever, as it details him kidnapping and murdering his ex in raw, emotional, and visceral detail.
I gotcha! Go ahead! Yell! Here! I'll scream with you! Somebody help! Don't you get it, bitch? No one can hear you! Now shut the fuck up and get what's coming to you!
Black Sabbath produced some very creepy 70s songs, and take your pick for any random dark metal or horrorcore hip-hop group who will no doubt use nursery rhymes and twisted melodies and lyrics to paint a frightening picture.
Mutilations deep down in my basement, forsaken the road to heaven I had taken, replacing my scriptures for demons and witches while twisting a cigarello full of bitches and snitches.
But those entries are simply musical appetizers, a short, scary 5 minutes of an otherwise classic adventure film. They are, in comparison to what we're about to hear, childish. Enter Delirium Cordia, surgical sound specimens from the Museum of Skin by Fantomas. A one-song album spanning 74 minutes that is truly the stuff of nightmares. First, a little background info. The band, Fantomas, is the brainchild of underrated musical genius Mike Patton, most popular as the frontman of the band Faith No More. From a dark, creative mind of Patton, we get Delirium Cordia, which is frightening enough on its own, but the story behind the song makes this track even darker. The story of the album is, I guess kind of unofficially, about a patient going under for surgery, but the anesthesia doesn't quite work as it should, and while his body sleeps, his mind is still awake throughout the whole procedure, experiencing every terrifying cut into his body. All while the mix of drugs and anesthesia blurs the lines between reality and twisted imagination. From dark chanting fitting that out of a church of Satan, to intense guitar and screeches, all while what seems to be the life support monitor beeping. Then melding into eerie, drawn-out chords that give a hint of almost sarcastic hope in the face of a darkness about to follow. Church bells ring as a woman moans in either agony or ecstasy. It's hard to tell. The sound switches gear into a creepy as fuck whistle accompanied by a sardonic bass line, until we get dreary, muted vocals that quickly transform into what can only be described as the sound of a terrible discovery. Stylus magazine said, "These razor-edged peaks and bloody throughs sometimes lead off a musical map into moments of bewilderment as you hear the scrambling panic of someone attempting to revive a body, while the music rises to engorging atonal, unforgiving chimes." Rolling Stone wrote, "A sprawling 74-minute epic incorporating noise rock, freeform jazz, chamber music, klezmer, and spooky piano lines straight out of a Halloween movie," while also calling the last 20 minutes of the song maddening. And Tiny Mixtapes wrote, "In essence, it's an improvisational nightmare that leaves you feeling extremely uncomfortable for an entire hour, while concurrently having you wish you could lie down to listen. And that's pretty true. As soon as you start to get used to one form of unsettling tunes and noises, it's as if Phantomas knows that your senses are easing, just like our eyes slowly begin to adjust and see in the darkness. But immediately the tone is changed to something just as dark, but dark in a different way. The constantly reoccurring sounds of dripping water can only make me think of dripping blood. And every single snare or sound could very well be the sound of surgical equipment being used and discarded, making you second guess every seemingly straightforward thumping sound. It's an album that's pretty incomprehensible in structure, but that only adds to the overall unease, as you truly never know what twisted turn the music is going to take next. It's ambitious, creative, and pretentious in just the right way as to match the dark themes in a sense that I truly can't get from any other artist. The pitch-black, droning nature of the last half hour of a track is nightmarish, but not without drawing the listener in a bizarre way. Like your gaze being drawn to a horrible accident despite you trying to look away. And Rolling Stone were correct when they called the last part maddening, as we hear a record player skipping as music stops, but without actually ending the song itself, almost as if implying that the nightmare isn't really quite over, and cementing what is, for me anyway, the scariest song ever made. So that about does it for this episode of Sci-Fi-Night Light. We hope you enjoyed it. And what do you think is the scariest song ever made? Let me know in the comments below. I'm your host, Sebastian Mendel Martinez, and I'll catch you guys next time.